Hi, welcome to my political show, Kavindu Political Times. Hit the like button and subscribe to my show. Now, as you all know, if you have been following, Russia has now officially invaded Ukraine. I have been saying this for a long time in my videos. Long time. And now it's finally happened. And I'm not happy about it either. People of Ukraine do not deserve what they are going through. So let's not waste any more time. Let's set the events in motion to understand how we got here. First, Vladimir Putin started talking small talk. And then it went from small talk to accusations. And now he's saying cleaning Ukraine of Nazis. Well, far as I know, that President Zelensky is not a Nazi. He's Jewish. So honestly, I don't know what Vladimir is thinking. I guess his brain is kind of an old brain. But that's his goal. He lives in a world of his own. That's his world. He thinks that President Zelensky is a Nazi. That's his mind. That's how crazy that guy is. That's how crazy Vladimir Putin is. That's who he is. Also, Vladimir Putin has managed to tell the biggest amount of lies in a negotiation ever in the history of politics. This is a man who said, we will negotiate. But in the end, he rejected all diplomatic relations. Sanctions are now put into action. Sanctions are effective as nothing really. Sanctions will not stop Vladimir Putin. He wants Ukraine. He wants to re-establish the Soviet Union again. And he will do that at any given cost. Even if that means his Russian people will have to suffer economically. Even if there is starvation, he don't give a damn. What he wants is the Soviet Union. That's the truth. If this man cared about his Russian people, well, this man would not be in power this long. But he doesn't give a damn about them. So, if you think sanctions will stop him, no. Sanctions will not stop Vladimir Putin because he don't care. He does not give one damn about it. That's the reality about Vladimir Putin. That's a fact. Now the West, unlike in Afghanistan at least, they have been taking actions. They have been putting sanctions according for the situation. And now President Biden has put even more powerful sanctions into action. And more banks have been frozen. But the problem is, despite that, you have to ask yourself the question, are these sanctions really going to stop him? So far it hasn't. But let's forget about sanctions because it's not working and let's ignore that. Let's talk about situation in Ukraine now, further deep into the situation. People are now fleeing Ukraine into Poland. Why? Trying to flee before the Russians come into the capital. And that's so bad. Remember, Russians said they want to be peacemakers in Donbass. Now they are trying to invade the goddamn country. That kind of shows you how they lie, right? People taking their dogs, taking their personal items, going into subway, train stations, bunkers, trying to survive these tough times at the moment. Trying to avoid a confrontation, trying to get through this time. Worst part, they don't know what will happen to them. They don't know what's the future. They don't know what will happen. What's the new order when they come out of the bunker? They don't know. Because how would you know? Because when the Russians are invading you sort of don't know. And it's kind of bad when your own government, President Zelensky, kept telling Russia won't invade. He said, nothing to worry. Well, Russians are now invading, launching rockets, invading by the sea, invading by the air. They are now having fun invading Ukraine. For myself, I'm pretty mad. Because honestly, I'm very mad. It's pretty sad. Ukraine is a young country that follows democracy for the core. A country like Ukraine do not deserve this. They were once under the wrath of the Russians in 2014. Back then, the Obama administration did not, in my opinion, take enough action after that. And think what happened in Georgia in 2008. For God's sake, imagine that. I mean, this is the new reality. Overall, sanctions are not working. Remember, this whole thing, during this process, Vladimir Putin said, I have no intention to invade. He kept saying he won't. But he did. Now he's saying he doesn't want to occupy. Of course he doesn't want to occupy Ukraine. Doesn't want to occupy it. I mean, why would you occupy? That's too expensive, too much of a problem. People will start uprising. The Russian soldiers face the wrath of that. No. What Vladimir Putin really wants to do is put a proxy government, or a government that's pro-Russian, a government that listens to him. The same way how the Soviet Union functioned. Same trick, but without the expenses of the Soviet Union. That's the reality. My wishes, and I hope all the people in Ukraine will be able to be safe from the miserable situation they are facing. It's not their fault. It's the fault of their neighboring country called Russia. Their hunger towards the old Soviet Union that died way long time ago. That's the reality. Could this mean that in the long term Russia could suffer for these actions? Probably, but long term doesn't matter. What matters is right now. If Russians don't suffer enough from these sanctions and don't retreat, what's the point of the long term? What's the guarantee that this is the only step? What if they start going into countries in NATO? Think about that. Lithuania, Poland, and etc. Think about it. So yes, I believe it's time that the West start getting their hands dirty. It's time to send their troops and win this goddamn war against Russia. Negotiation is now dead. There is no negotiation. It's now dead. That's reality. And I understand President Biden might not want to send troops, but I will be honest, it's time he should. Because if anything, there is no better situation than this. That is the reality. Because this is not just invasion of Ukraine. This is a challenge for the future of the security of all NATO countries and all of Europe. Because Vladimir Putin is the next Hitler. There is no question about that. Because this is how Hitler got started as well. This is exactly how it began. And here we are in 2022 on the same lines. The West never did enough against Hitler. Then he became into a World War II. And remember, the world is not ready for a World War III. But to end this war, only war can end this war. That's a sad reality. To end this war, you have to do war. Otherwise, the Russians will just start another World War III and a new Cold War. That's the reality. So thank you for joining me on the show. Hit the like button and subscribe to my show.